And we are finally live. Sorry about that. Wrestle Purist live, hosted by myself and Ibu of Wrestle Purist, better known to some of you guys as Backup Hangman. We've got a lot to get into as usual. On Wednesdays, we're going to do AEW Dynamite preview. We're going to talk about NXT from last night. Daniel Garcia revealed in an interview recently that this is a contract year for him, so we'll touch on that a little bit. What else have we got? Mickey James no longer appearing on the Impact roster. Mega, AEW's chief legal officer, has taken a step back from AEW reportedly, so we're definitely going to get into that as well. But yeah, first things first, please like, subscribe, super chat, any questions, any takes, anything like that. Hope everyone's doing good. Starting with my fellow co-hosts, Backup Hangman. What's good, brother?
Nothing much. I'm doing all right. Having a nice little afternoon podcast with the people before I go to work. I watched a lot of really really good wrestling last night. I checked out Cactus Jack.
NXT.
No, so here's the thing. When I get home from work, I have a couple hours before I knock out, and so I was like, do I want to just get NXT out the way, or do I want to protect my peace and watch something that'll make me happy? And so I saved NXT for this morning, where I can just be a professional and, check out all the content I need to cover. But last night, I just cracked my knuckles, opened the laptop up, popped on some Vader versus Cactus Jack, Texas Death Match from Halloween Havoc 93. Phenomenal. Vader gave him shoot punches and busted him open. I watched Cactus Jack versus Sting from Beach Blast 92. Amazing match. They were bumping on concrete and suplexing each other on concrete. Unreal. Fighting on the ramp and shit. I watched Cactus Jack versus Mikey Whipwreck in ECW. Really good. I watched the Full-Blooded Italians versus Mikey Whipwreck and Tajiri. And then
You watched a lot of wrestling, it sounds like.
Yeah. And then I ended the night off with Kid Cash and Super Crazy versus the Unholy Alliance. Beautiful, beautiful watch session of grabs. You know what I mean? Just the real shit, Monty. Just the real shit.
Did you watch any of it on Discord?
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah, people, you need to get in the Discord. These little watch-alongs that Ibu does at all kinds of hours of the night, He's weird like that, but sometimes it's good stuff. But yeah, man, what should we start with? Ibu, I'll let you pick. What do you want to start with? We've got Mega, we've got contract news, we've got NXT review, obviously. We'll save the AEW Dynamite preview, though. So anything other than that, what do you want to start with?
We'll start with Mega, and then we'll go into Daniel Garcia.
All right, so like I said at the top of the show, Mega, AEW's chief legal officer, has taken a step back from AEW, reportedly, according to Fightful Select. According to the report, she's largely stepped back from her AEW duties over the last few months. It's unknown if this is an official job title change or just an adjustment, but Chris Peck has largely taken over many of the things that Mega was doing in AEW. It's believed that Mega was being shifted to focus on things related to a stadium deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars and less on AEW. It was stressed that Mega actually wasn't at AEW All In at London, and she was not part of the disciplinary committee that led to CM Punk's AEW departure, as many had speculated. So yeah, there's a few things there. But yeah, Mega seemed to have taken a step back in recent months. Is there anything you'd like to add, Ibu?
Well, I absolutely have heard about this. I heard that Mega was kind of not around lately and that she's kind of focusing on the football. Most people could confirm that to me. Very few people could give me an actual reason as to why. I asked around with talent, like, why Mega's been repositioned? And there's like this rumor and innuendo as to why, but nobody can give me a concrete reason that they're willing to put on record, And because there's nobody who's able to give me a real reason that's on record, then it's all just unsubstantiated rumor and innuendo. And so the fact of the matter is what Sean has out is what's something that we all know, which is like what we can all say is that she's just not there right now. And that's kind of that. So yeah, I wonder how this affects the dynamics of things within the company, because she was a big part of a lot of what they were doing, Monty. She was a big confidant for Tony Khan. She played a big role in a lot of handling a lot of just internal issues within the company when they would arise. She was a huge part of the stipulations put forth for CM Punk when he made his return to the company this year. She was a big part in his in how they put together his firing. She was a big part in a bunch of other things within the promotion just overall. So she was just a general key figure in AEW. And so her not being around is interesting because of how pivotal her role was and a lot of the things that she did behind the scenes. So her being gone is interesting, and I'm curious to see how that's going to affect things long term and who it affects. But yeah, I'll try to gather some details on what really happened there and see if maybe I could provide something for you guys shortly.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one that has been kind of, I don't know. Okay, it's been kept under wraps in some aspects. You know, like you said, the reasoning and stuff. Like there's a lot of speculation. Like some of it being pretty wild, to be honest. Um, but yeah, like you said at the start, like we did know about Mega at least taking some form of step back. You know, for quite a while now. But whenever we've tried to reach out to AEW directly, same as Sean Ross put in the Fightful Select report, Fightful reached out to AEW and Mega for comment, but haven't heard back. So, we reached out to AEW as well when we were starting to hear things, but they, like I said, didn't exactly volunteer much information, if any information about it whatsoever. So, like I said, the speculation around the reasoning ranges from wild to pretty tame, normal stuff, like he's mentioned in the report, like taking a step back to focus more on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Um, some rumors online are very, very far from the truth, but that's what fans do. They're going to speculate. But, even within the company, there's all kinds of weird speculation, so, uh, you know, moving forwards, it seems like Chris Peck is going to be the guy that Tony leans on for the stuff Mega was doing. And I'm sure Tony will obviously still have some form of working relationship with Mega, considering he owns the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. So, yeah. From our point of view, like as fans, it's I'm not sure how much it will affect us, if at all. So, it's just an interesting one, I
Yep.
wonder if anybody will. Oh, you got Full Gear this week, and you got a media call, you got a press conference. I wonder if anyone will ask him to officially confirm that Mega's with or not with the company anymore. And
That's actually a
the
very good
reasoning.
question to ask Tony Khan, to be honest with you. Just what can you tell us about the status of Mega Prec within your organization, and if she's been moved over? Is there any specific reason as to why?
Yeah, I don't
I,
actually know.
I, I think
When
it's a
did they
fair
normally
question.
do the media call? It's on Thursday, isn't it? So
Something like that. I think.
um, we do have credentials. So if we get the email in the morning about the media call, then I guess someone will ask it. And if we get a chance to ask, and it hasn't already been asked, I guess it would be a very good question for us to ask, But yeah, I guess, like Ibu said, he'll try and ask around a bit more, gather what he can about it, if there is anything else to gather about it. We'll see if anything gets revealed on the media call or at the press conference for Full Gear. And we'll all move on with our lives as we were anyway.
Yep, for sure, for sure.
So that's Mega. What else do I want to get into? A couple WWE Performance Center notes. Jade Cargill is there today. Recent signees Jay Malachi and Brogan Finley were there yesterday. So it seems like they're slowly trying to integrate in some of these new signings that they've picked up in the past few months. So it'll be interesting to see when they'll land on TV. Obviously, everyone's looking at Jay Cargill, but I don't know much about Jay Malachi, but I've heard a lot of good things about him, especially from fans of Deadlock Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot. I know he gets a lot of dates with them. So yeah, Brogan Finley, of course, the son Fit Finley. He's a Finley, so I'm interested. But yeah, man, we'll see what's going on. When do you think Jade's going to debut? Ibu? You got any ideas or random guesses you want to throw out there?
I would say that I would not be surprised to see her at Survivor Series in some capacity. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see her confront Rhea Ripley at the show after she beats Zoe Stark. In the ring is tough. I think they're shooting for early next year for wrestling. I think. I know that. Yeah. I know that she was when she first came in. She was working in the PC multiple days a week. And I know last week she took a week off for whatever personal reason she chose to do so. And so that's why this week, that's why her popping in today was a report because it was like, oh, Jade Cargill showed up. It's because she wasn't there last week. But yeah, man, the whole game plan with her was to kind of parade her around and let her kind of grind in the background and then build to something. Her TV appearances have slowed down. But again, I do expect her to kind of pop back out and have a big definitive introduction at the Survivor Series pay-per-view.
I wish we could get like a scouting report of the NXT coaches to see like
Yeah,
what
I
they
wish.
think of her and how like close she is to being TV ready for, you know,
Mhm.
for WWE and you know. So
Because for all we know, she went in there and like the coaches just saw things about her mechanics that they don't like, you know. And when that happens in WWE, they're like, then we have to completely dismantle this. And you know, so I'm just curious how that went because we're gonna notice when she gets in the ring, if she just kind of moves different than she did before, like she just wrestles like slightly different, and it's like, oh, they fucking retrained her or reprogrammed something about how she throws punches or how she hits the ropes or something. So you'll absolutely notice, you know. So we'll see.
someone said in the chat, "How is Jade not TV ready, but Pillman Jr. is?" It's a
That's a great question. I'll tell you this: I think she's closer to television ready than Mr. Bryan, but I don't know. At least with him, they see him as somebody who's a trained wrestler, you know. So I don't know. I do not know. The thing about it though is Jade is going to be on Raw. She's not going to be on NXT. Brian Pillman is an NXT wrestler, and I guess for them to be Raw standard, you got to be at a certain level. I mean, I know they throw people out like Indy Hartwell to like eat pins, but like they're not trying to have her in that role. Like when she's on and she's on weekly, it's going to be pushed in at a main event level, like immediately. So I think they want to basically have her completely down pat 100% the way that they want her to wrestle, so that once she's there, they don't have to worry about it and they can just plug her in when they want to plug her in. So
yeah, man.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assumption to make, especially with the way WWE like to do things with some of these talents that they're getting from elsewhere. But yeah, man, let's do a couple super chats. We'll do a few super chats, so keep them coming in, and we'll get to them when we can. Darren Walker, £2. Appreciate you as always. Sky Blue versus Red Velvet, the only good thing tonight. Well, we're going to do a Dynamite preview. So, Darren Walker, we know you like to be spiteful, so you know. Chill out, man. It's going to be a good night of graps. Jake Brand, $1.99. Appreciate it. Need Samoa Joe to win the AEW World Title at World's End.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
That would be. We've been needing that for a while. You know, he never won the big one in WWE, but we'll take this, bro. We'll take this all day. You know, we'll take this.
Absolutely.
Phantom FTW, £2. Appreciate you as always. Punk fans acting like freaks towards this woman. Assume you're talking about Mega. Like I said, man, a lot of the fan speculation is very spiteful, you know. But yeah, man, it's been weird. I wasn't expecting people to be like so opinionated about it. You know, like when we done the tweet on the Wrestle Purist page, I definitely was not expecting people to be so opinionated about it. Maybe that's just me being naive, you know. But yeah, people feel very strongly about this, you know. So God bless, I guess. Darren Walker, £2. Appreciate you. Josh Alexander versus Will Ospreay on Impact this week. That will absolutely be a good one. But you know, that's a prime time Wrestle Purist podcast time. You know, so
I gotta catch up to some of Gresham stuff. I heard he had a great match with Alex Shelley on Impact, which was posted on their YouTube page with the wrestling that happened in the commercial breaks. And I heard Gresham had a good one in All Japan Pro Wrestling against Lindemann. So I got some catching up to do with the Octopus.
Yeah, that's been one I've been meaning to check out. The one with Al Lindemann. That caught my eye. I haven't been able to get around to it yet, but it's on my list. It's on my very prestigious list. It's very rare in 2023 because there's so much wrestling. But I'll make a note of a match that I want to, catch up on. But really big fan of Al Lindemann, Gresham. You know what you're gonna get with Gresham 9 times out of 10. So I'm ready for it. 199 Zayd Nadi, appreciate you. Need Gable versus Brock next year for the love of the game.
Zayd, I saw the super chat before we went live. I think I did. And I don't know why I've never thought about this match because I love the idea of this match. I think I don't know how WrestleMania is going to shake out this upcoming one, but listen, giving Gable like a big match like that where he just challenges like the biggest dude or whatever, and giving him that opportunity would be fucking incredible. I think that match would genuinely be the best Brock Lesnar match since God Danielson. Like,
But you got to consider something.
what's up?
What would Brock Lesnar's mindset be going into this match?
I think if you have Paulie get in his ear and say he was an amateur, he's an amateur,
He's an Olympian.
he's an Olympian, we're real high on him. Please make him look good. Give him 10 minutes. That's genuinely like going to be a phenomenal wrestling match. And in the build, he could suplex Otis and shit, on TV. I'm with it. I don't know why I never thought of this match, but I'm very into the idea of this. I think they should do it.
Oh yeah, it'd be nice. It just depends how many matches Brock has got left,
Right. Probably about 4 or 5, I would say.
I don't think he's going to be able to. We all know Brock likes to call his shot, call his number, do what he wants when he wants, and of course, when his next contract's due, it will be interesting to see how Endeavor approaches the Brock Lesnar. I think obviously they've dealt with him in the past. I think. Has Brock Lesnar fought for the UFC under Endeavor? Yeah, of course he has. Yeah, he has. He has.
So Endeavor took UFC.
They're happy to pay him.
I was gonna say Endeavor took UFC in 2016, I think, or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, Brock fought Mark Henry, even though he popped.
Mark Hunt.
Mark Henry.
Yeah, not Mark Henry.
Well, no, that would go.
Mark Henry. He fought Mark Hunt.
But yeah, Mark Hunt. I nearly said AEW 200 then. I'm all over the place, people. Anyway.
You didn't have your ribs today,
Listen, bro. It's marathon. Alright, so let's talk Mickie James, like I said at the start of the show, not appearing on the Impact Wrestling online roster. Sources within the company, according to PW Insider, are saying that she is still on good terms with Impact, but she is taking a, quote, break from the company. A lot of fans were speculating in our comments to this, saying that she's definitely going to WWE. Do you think that's even a possibility?
Yeah. People were like, "Yeah, see you at the Rumble, Mickey."
You think it's possible?
Yeah, of course it's possible.
No, but do you think she's actually? Do you think it's so? I don't think she would leave Impact like that.
I'll put it to you this way: this break terminology is very curious. I could easily see her. So in 2016, Triple H brought her in just to do one takeover, just to kind of do the match with Asuka.
Yeah.
And then like that was it. It was like a handshake. Hey, Mickey. Yeah. Well, hey, Mickey, come do this takeover thing. And then she had the match, and it was cool. And they kind of moved on. I could easily see Paul Levesque borrowing her for like maybe an idea or two that he has. And then you shake on it. She kisses the husband, and then she kind of goes back to what she was doing. I easily could see that. I almost wish it happened this time of the year because this is that kind of dead period of the year, and Rhea needs challengers to fight because she's trying to pad out and not face Becky until Mania, obviously. And I mean, again, I'm fine with the Zoe Stark match, for example, right? But like, I wouldn't have been opposed to like in Chicago of all places where the same building where Mickey faced the exact same building where Mickey faced Trish Stratus at Mania. If she came in there and she fought Rhea Ripley, that would have been a good match. Or you would think it would be. So yeah, could I see her popping in for a cup of coffee and then going back to Impact? Yeah, that's why the break terminology. That's the antenna that gets set off when I hear break. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, she was in the Rumble with the Knockouts belt, so it's weird. I don't know. But when I say I don't think she would do that to Impact, I'm like, she thinks very highly of Impact. I know a lot of people think she's a fed bootlicker, but she also does have a lot of reverence for Impact Wrestling, So
they have a great relationship.
I don't think she would lie to them and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm taking a break," and then sign with WWE. And I think if she was just going to make an appearance, I think Impact would just let her do that. She wouldn't need to take a break.
Yes.
I think she probably is just taking a break. Maybe. I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know. It would be funny though.
The thing is, there's an in between one appearance and a full-on contract. It could literally just be like a program for a pay-per-view.
Yeah, definitely.
4 weeks and then you move on. So again, we'll see. Paul Levesque has set the precedent where he'll do that with people, and he did it with Mickie James, where he borrowed Mickie James for a month.
Daniel Garcia. Daniel
Yeah,
Garcia, in an interview, was talking about how, his championship aspirations and how he wants to have like a big year. And in that, he mentioned that, he's in a contract year. So in the next 12 months, Daniel Garcia's contract is seemingly up. So, big year for him. Of course, he had the big match with MJF. Um, a lot of people wanting to see what AEW do next with him and how they can push forward after having a world title match. But I guess it remains to be seen where he kind of falls on their depth chart, But I'm rooting for him, wherever he ends up. He did mention as well that he's just getting himself ready for wherever he ends up. I think he said so. It seems like he's at least open to the idea of other places, which is crazy to think when you think about like where he was like 18 months ago, whenever the Bryan match was. Uh,
yeah, for sure. I
Interesting.
don't I don't think he would have been talking like this last year. And I don't say that to automatically suggest that he's just like, I'm done, I'm leaving. But I do think, well, look, here's the deal. Here's the deal. It's a contract year.
Sitting down.
It is a contract year. And at the end of the day, it's not just Daniel. Everybody in this company is looking around, evaluating their spot, their role on the show, their spot on the roster, where things are going. And they're all assessing their options, as they should, as every wrestler should at all times, especially if your deal is coming up. And so, as Jim Ross would always say, your issues in wrestling always come down to cash or creative. And I think for Daniel, I think what his is going to come down to, frankly, is just, does he see an opportunity for upward mobility in AEW the way it appeared there was going to be a year ago? Because a year ago, like you said, he's in a program where Danielson and Chris Jericho are fighting over him, and he got a win over Bryan Danielson. He had 2 matches with Danielson that were amazing, and he's looking like the next big thing, the next toy. And as he said in his own promo, which was a shoot, by the way, losing didn't hurt back then because it felt like there was upward mobility on the horizon. And now he kind of got the cold hard dose of reality this year that in wrestling it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes there's always going to be the next guy, the next toy, the next shiny thing, and sometimes you do get swallowed up in just the muck of everybody else, and you kind of get lost in the shuffle, and then you get reduced opportunities, and you get shorter matches, and you win less, and sometimes you're forgotten about and abandoned creatively, and you don't wrestle on pay-per-view. That's how it goes for a lot of people a lot of the times. There's very limited spots for the big top stars, and it's very hard to break into that category often in the business, as we see. And so he sees that. And so, yeah, it's a contract year. I say all this to say he's going to reassess and evaluate where he is in a year and just make his decision. But the goal in the meantime is to just show as much as possible that like he's an asset. He's going to just try to do his best to show that he's an asset, to show that he's valuable, that he's worth, building around, worth pushing, and all that type of stuff, featuring, in the hopes that come contract, come the expiration, he gets a great offer that also includes, at least some type of indication that he's going to be, elevated. Otherwise, he's just going to look elsewhere, as most wrestlers are going to. So, look, do I think he could go to NXT? Yes. Would I say that's an automatic thing? It really depends on how this year shakes out, because I do believe that Daniel would love to stay in AEW and be a pushed wrestler in AEW and kind of grow within the system. But it's going to be up to the company to kind of show him that like that's a viable thing. I know on his end, he's going to do whatever he can with the opportunities that he's given, So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully he's in the Continental Classic.
Yeah, hopefully. Hope everything positive just plays out for him going forwards now, because it's been a weird like 12 months or so for him, especially considering where he was at. So, pretty much everyone at WrestlePure is like, big on Garcia, rooting for him, etc., etc. He's really good, man. It's weird. Like I said, it's weird how the past 12 months or so have played out for him, and it's weird. It's not like it's on him, It's not like he's been slowing down in the ring or he hasn't got his character over. You know what I mean? Like he's done he's done pretty much what he can, with what he's been given the past 12 months or so.
Absolutely.
Logan, $199. Appreciate it as always. one of our mascots at Wrestle Furies, Logan the German Shepherd. Need to see Gunther win the World Heavyweight Championship in Germany. You know, I won't complain at it. I would not complain at it. I know he's not like German, but you know, it's Europe. You know, it's Europe. So I'll take it, mate. I'll take it. I love Gunther. I'm really like a 2024 where the two world champions in WWE are Cody Rhodes and Gunther is like I could get pretty shameless with that. So
Absolutely, you would. You absolutely would.
Maybe. So Jizzle 499, appreciate you as always. I was at the Dynamite where Daniel Garcia beat Bryan, and that shit was fire. A year plus later, he is nowhere. NXT / WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling, or bust. Don't let TK control his future. Listen, if you're a Daniel Garcia fan, I can't like blame you for having that take. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we've had the past 12 months or so have played out. It's like, how can you? It's hard to find reasons to not have that take, you know. So
Right.
it's tough, man. It's tough, especially when like so many people are high on him. You start thinking weird shit, like because he got heat with the Office, brother. You know,
I actively went out of my way to ask that because it was just so strange to me. You know, the way he was being featured. I was just like, does he have heat with the Office? Like, did he do something? You know, did he do something wrong? And like, I didn't hear anything like it was like no, there's no problem with Daniel. So it's like, well, then why? You know what I mean? Like, why is he? I don't know. It's really more so a case, Monty, for some of those stretches of periods where the priorities were just kind of out of whack, in my opinion. That's just my subjective opinion. Like the different things and different people were being prioritized, and he was not among them. You know, he wasn't considered for a match at Wembley.
You know, when you look at the past 12 months of AEW, the people that you would put above Garcia and I don't know.
Again, I'll put this out to you like this, Monty. Remember that big stadium? I believe it was a stadium stampede match at Wembley.
Mm-hmm.
You would think he'd be maybe at least in consideration for that, and he was not. You know, at no point were there any discussions to put him at the All Out card. You know, this match here with the Like a Dragon street fight. There were plans for him to be involved in this whole situation, and those plans changed, and these plans now entail Paul White. So, you know, sometimes some people, the what is it, the rough end of the stick, the shit end of the stick, whatever you want to call it. All you can hope for if you're somebody that supports Daniel is that he just kind of rolls with the punches. Because again, I'm like, not to like make him seem like this like, you know, feeble victim. You know, it's the business, but sometimes
Poor Daniel. You know?
Yeah, right. Like look, he's gotten fucked a lot, but like a lot of people do. That's just kind of how wrestling goes sometimes, and you just kind of hope because he's so talented that he is able to kind of roll with the punches and overcome it, and basically work his way into a situation where the people in power realize that he's very underpushed relative to his actual ability level. So, yeah, man, these are the growing pains being young in the business, man. Sometimes you just get fucking, you just get the shit kicked out of you, you know, by the Office. It appears. So, yeah, that's the deal with that.
Yeah, interesting. In fear of having a full run. Vultures on $5, appreciate it. Is it me, or does it feel like Stardom finna have a talent purge? And why are people thinking Mickey James is coming back to WWE? I think you must have just tapped in. Well, we was just talking about Mickey James. According to PW Insider, she no longer appears on the roster for Impact, and she said that she's taking a break. So, you know, speculation. Well, appreciate the super chat as always. Will, hope you're doing good. Showtime Spurs, $2. Appreciate you as always as well. Yahweh boo. what was that?
That was fucking weird. I just like, Jesus Christ.
Showtime Spurs,
$2.
Showtime Spurs, $2. That Garcia promo felt like Cody's last AEW promo. Yeah, it was like in the back,
Yeah,
proper like
exasperated and shit.
yeah, monotone and that, yeah, I guess,
God, this got me crying. I'm
What are the
trying to
comments saying?
fucking someone's a floating emu head.
Yeah, bro just appeared. Um, Cookie Dough 58, £5. Appreciate you. I think you're a new super chatter. Hook Utah opening the pay per view like Derby MJF 2021. Hope they're finally getting behind Hook properly. Feels overdue like Garcia. Yeah, he's actually another one to be honest. Like very similar to Garcia. Like I know he's very like early in his career in terms of like how trained he is as a wrestler and stuff like that. And when he first came onto the scene and he made his debut and stuff, it was like, yo, Hooks, there's something there. There was like, he had a really good debut and following matches after that. There was a lot of fanfare behind him, a lot of hype behind him. Send Hook was fucking being tweeted a million times a day. And it's just
Bro,
slowly just.
for a dick, like it was, it got out of control. I
Hell
got
yeah,
swept,
bro.
Monty. I got swept in Hook Mania last year, and this is embarrassing in hindsight. And I'm not blaming myself. I'm blaming AEW. I compared Hook to Bill Goldberg in WCW, Monty. I compared him to WCW Goldberg, and I got
Shame on you.
I got this kicked out of me. But look, man, I
It
remember
was
being
a
in those.
thing, man. Not the Goldberg, but like him, like
I
him
was in
being
those
this hot
buildings,
new prospect.
bro. I was in those buildings in 2021 where like the graphic would come that he's going to be on the Rampage taping, and the people in the venue were like going nuts because oh, we get to see Hook later tonight, you know. And when he would come out, like I saw people around me like they're basically throwing babies, you know. And now he's just like a guy on the show, like he's just a guy, So
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. He absolutely falls into a lot of what we were just saying about Garcia. Like someone who had a lot of hype behind him, and if you would have said, at the peak of that hype that this is where he would be now, you'd be like, what the fuck? Like he got a match on Wembley. He was on the pre-show, but fuck, people thought he was the next big thing. A lot of people calling him Rookie of the Year, and he was hasn't done much since. Like at the start when he was first making his debut, he was in a lot of squash matches and short matches, and people were like, okay, he's just started his career normal. And people were hoping eventually we'll get to see his stuff get a bit more expansive with him, but there's only been like a couple a couple instances of that happening, and he's not
why
really been
couldn't they just throw him?
prominently.
Why
What was
couldn't
that?
Why couldn't they just like at the peak of some of this, just throwing him against one of these main event guys as a test? They did it with like Jungle Boy and Darby in the year one AEW. Like just see what happens. It just. I was thinking about. Remember the angle where do you remember when he beat Ricky Starks and won the FTW belt?
Yeah,
That was like a big thing. That was like, oh, this is a big step forward for him.
murdered him.
That was so.
Murdered
I
him.
thought that was this year, Monty. That was like middle of last year.
Yeah, it's what could have been, and what still can be. Like the same with Garcia, bro. They're both still so young. They've still got so many bumps
But
and
there's a
nails
difference.
left in them.
Garcia, if in a perfect situation, will work hard, have great matches, and get back to where he needs to be. Hook was like a phenomenon though, and you'll
Yeah,
never. It's different. You're not going to recapture that
definitely.
type of like phenomenon. So
Yeah, definitely. Not like that, but hopefully he can. Because he has a talent, he's good, bro. Like it's not like it was just a phenomenon. Like the reason, like a big part of the phenomenon, like getting as much steam, because it was already kind of starting before he made his debut. Then he made that debut against Fuego. And Fuego was fucking brilliant in it. Like I know he was only getting squashed, but he was absolutely brilliant getting squashed in that match. Fuego was. He's really good at getting squashed. Fuego is. We should get him on a podcast. But yeah, then a lot of hype, and the hype just dwindled down. Like he's not dead. Like people still pop for him when he comes out, but it's absolutely nowhere near the same. Berkey 199. Y'all ready for this big show performance tonight?
I mean, if Dave is to be believed, he doesn't move well, and if he doesn't move well, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets taken out.
What do you mean if Dave is to be believed, bro? You've
What
got
I'm saying,
eyes. You saw him walk out there the other
just
week.
saying, he made it seem like this guy can't really walk properly, and if that's the case, then he's not gonna be in this match like the entire way through.
Hit a choke
He,
slam at the end.
he's probably like he might get like beat up and not he might get taken out of the match or something, and maybe resurface for like the last spot to do a choke slam, or not even like maybe just a fucking knockout punch, because like that requires less physical exertion. I guess we'll see on that one.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'd be lying. I can't lie to the Wrestle Purist family.
The thing
Can't
is,
do that.
because
I'm
he's
worried,
always
people.
he's so giving. He's so
Worried for
giving.
the big man.
He's so willing and so just giving to the business. Quite frankly, I think it's an absolute sham he's in this match, and I think he himself probably should be slightly aware of this. Big Show being in a match in 2023, and so I think if he has any level of I don't know, respect for the business or whatever you want to call it, I think he should take a really gnarly bump for like a Will Hobbs or something. I think Will Hobbs should just fucking spine bust him to a table.
I'm worried about that as well, mate.
That's where I'm at with these veterans, bro. You want to take a television
Yeah,
spot?
but the Big Show, bro.
Listen, you want to be on TV when you know damn well you probably shouldn't be, right? Then you have to give back when you're on the television. You can't just come out, do your fucking shit, and leave. What does that benefit? Who does that benefit? You're taking up a spot, and I get it. Like, these people paved the way and they did this and that, but it's like, it's the same thing I thought about when fucking Undertaker was on NXT. Like, you better take a fucking bump. And he didn't take a bump. He did not take a bump. He punched Ron Breakker and threw his fist up. What does that do for anybody?
I mean, Melo got a cool picture with him.
You got a cool little picture with him, but what happened to giving back? Paul White, take a bump tonight. Take a fucking bump.
Well, he is wrestling, so it's part of it. I don't know. Who knows, bro? Maybe enough smoke and mirrors. He's in there with enough other good people.
Here's the thing. My man Austin in the comments said, like, his torso sitting on the ball joint of his leg bone. He has no hip anymore. Right? Then don't be on the show. Then don't wrestle. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I get it. Like, these guys are physically fucked. They can't do it anymore. Then don't be in the fucking match. There's so many people in that roster. We don't need where was the widespread clamor for Paul White, the Big Show, to be in a Like a Dragon street fight? Nobody asked for this. The person that wanted Jericho back the most was Chris fucking Jericho. Who does that benefit? Who is that for? If you're gonna be in the match, take a bump.
Don't even benefit Jericho.
Exactly. It's some fucking meme shit to just like pop some people for like 10 minutes. Nobody was asking for this. If he's gonna be in it, I don't want to hear all his hip and his AC joint and his ball joint and his. Then don't fucking wrestle. We get it. You're 52. You shouldn't be in the ring. You shouldn't. But if you're gonna do it, then give back. Take the fucking bump. Holy shit. There's a reason why.
I think Hobbs should just like hospitalize him before the match, and he gets replaced by an actual wrestler. That'd
be great. There's a reason why 50-year-olds generally don't wrestle, Monty. It's a very dangerous and physically taxing sport. What are we doing?
Yeah, we say all this. I think you'd be joining me now. The mask is off. We're both worried. We're both worried. But yeah, we'll get to that. Well, we've kind of just previewed that anyway. But I want to do the NXT review. We gotta get down to it, people. NXT November 14 opens up with Chase U. They're under investigation. Have you heard about this?
I guess I did. Monty. I guess I did. Making me review NXT while I'm hot is a bad idea.
Why are you hot? We're gonna talk about AEW as well, brother. NXT is where I bring the vibes back. You getting a bit heated, a bit angry, a bit hot and sweaty. You was kind of losing it. I was kind of losing it for a moment there.
And you're gonna make
I agreed with what you said. I agreed with what you said. But it's just. It's just you got a bit passionate there and have to bring it back down to a nice level. Everyone here enjoys NXT. It's a nice show. Yeah. There was
I
an
like
NXT chance in the chat earlier.
I like the new lady in the Italian group.
See,
I do. She just
these are
reminds me of
unusual
like
things.
takes me back to Jersey. Just the simple
Yeah,
days.
she rules, bro.
Yeah, I do like
Even
her.
though the only thing I know about is what she looks like in her accent,
Yeah.
she rules. It just is what it is. But yeah, Chase U's under investigation. Andre Chase says he's fully cooperating with the investigators. Himself a case, brother. But yeah, talking of Chase U, NXT Tag Team Championship match, Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo defeat Andre Chase and Duke Hudson to reclaim the NXT Tag titles. Obviously the Tony D'Angelo Andre Chase spot that didn't quite go to plan. Obviously that got quite a lot of attention on Twitter yesterday. But I thought the actual match itself was pretty decent. I'm actually quite a fan of Tony D and Stacks, to be honest, because Tony D can do all the cool suplexes. He's out there in track pants and a vest. He's Ben Stacks is we were talking about before we went live. Like he's just game, bro. He's a gamer. He's
Yeah, I like this
a
team.
high motor. He's got a high motor. He's got a good level of intensity. He goes for it, brother. I respect it. So I like this pairing. Andre Chase is okay. Duke Hudson, he's pretty solid. He's been pretty solid in NXT for a minute now. But yeah, I thought this opener was solid.
I did enjoy this. I think, like you said, the Italian guys, I like their tag team. I think they're like main roster level bell to bell, to be honest with you, in terms of just being professional and getting through tag matches. I think they're pretty good, honestly. Tony D has that physicality. He can brawl a little bit. Big boy, big muscle boy, and the other guy Stacks. He's like you said, he's game. So, and Duke Hudson moves well for his size. So I have no problem with this opener overall. I don't get what's going on with this Chase U walkout angle or what that's supposed to be about. That was so.
His students are questioning him, Ibu. They want to know what's going on. They're seeing his name in the papers, and it's just like they can't put their full trust and faith into Andre Chase anymore, Ibu. This is
been accused of being
this is storytelling.
What's going on here? So they're mid-match. They're like, this guy's not him, and he just got up. Like, what's going on here? What's going on here? Yeah, they all just decided to step up and leave, and I don't know what that's all about. Don't know what to make of that.
It's ridiculous, but
if it involves the Italian girl, I'll watch next week's segment and see what happens there. But nonetheless, I did enjoy this match, and the tag belts are on the right people.
Yeah, man. We'll see what happens with Andre Chase. A lot of kids look up to him, so I hope he doesn't get found guilty of whatever he's being accused of. Anyway,
what next, are they implying there?
It's
like, what's going on here? And then later in the show, Joe Gacy's like, I am not who I am. I'm not who you want me to be or who you believe me to be. I'm breaking the mold. I'm out the box. I'm on the roof. And then he just like jumps off the roof. They implied he killed himself. Like the camera just crashes to the floor. I was like, well, huh? Did Joe Gacy commit suicide? And then the feed goes black and it cuts back to like Vic Joseph and he's like, well, switching gears here, the NXT break. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where's the authorities? Like, what is happening in the PC? You can get jumped.
Of course, man.
You can get attacked. You can literally jump off a building. And they're just like, all right, well, NXT rolls on. Coming up after the break, we have Baron Corbin versus Wes Lee here. Like, what are you talking? Where are there no cops in Florida? Well, actually, don't answer that because the answer is yes. But like, Jesus.
Yeah. Interesting place, the PC. Yeah, up next, WWE Hall of Famer, who we all love, Lita. She, she's one of the guest. I don't even know what you'd call these matchmakers for the Iron Survivor qualifying matches, and the matches that she made for the Iron Survivor qualifiers were Roxanne Perez versus Lash Legend and Trick Williams versus Joe Cover. it kind of pops me out like WWE just have like legends in the back pocket to just like do little things like this that are like it's kind of pointless, but it's just like why not, you know? Like,
what makes it even funnier is like last year, I don't know if you remember, they flew them out to like do this like fucking sit down thing where they're like having a discussion about it. If you remember, where like it looked like in American Idol when like, the judges were picking out who's going to Hollywood or whatever.
yeah,
It's like like a Road Dogg would have a picture and he'd be like, I mean, I'm really liking what Carmelo Hayes is doing. You know, this year they were like, just send in a fucking phone video. You know, still we're not paying the plane ticket.
you know,
just send us your iPhone video.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we don't need to go all out. You know,
Lita just made her breakfast. You know, and she's popped her camera on and she's like, "Hey guys, Lita here. Lash Legend and Roxanne. Bye." Okay, thanks, Lita. All right.
Oh, God bless. But
this is
we go
a pretty
to commercial.
Funny show. I can't lie. It is a pretty funny show.
We go to commercial. We come back from commercial. Dominic Mysterio is backstage with his new best friend Baron Corbin. It's just some nasty business going on there. Out of all the things you just listed, that might be the nastiest stuff. You know?
On this show, we had the fictional professor of a university that decides to wrestle as his main profession. He's being potentially outed as a creep, and his students have turned on him mid-match. We got a guy jumping off a fucking fucking building. Baron Corbin and Dominic are just striking a friendship. You know,
it's a wild universe. The NXT versus. Let me tell you.
I thought Shawn Michaels stopped doing drugs.
Well, he found Jesus. Remember, he found Jesus. Anyway, Supernova Sessions. No one bars. Talk show.
Oh my God!
Oh no, it gets better because the Alpha Academy playing to this, bro. You know, they go back and forth as everyone knows. Noam Dar is the Heritage Cup holder at the moment, and you can tell that NXT over the past few months have definitely put like I was saying to Ibby before we went live, like almost a hilarious effort into how much they're trying to like establish the Heritage Cup as like a real thing. You know,
it's very funny
doing like international tournaments with it. You know. But anyway, you can tell that they're obviously putting a lot of stuff in, you know, putting some effort into building this Heritage Cup. And Chad Gable wants it, so that's another step in trying to establish it, you know. Chad Gable calls his shot, and he's getting his shot next week, I think. Noam Dar versus Chad Gable for the Heritage Cup.
I will watch
that. It should be a very, very solid match at least.
Yeah, I expect that to be really good. Chad Gable is one of the best wrestlers in the company, and Noam Dar is quietly a little underrated, so... Yeah, I'm up for that. I will watch that.
Yeah, he's very solid. Women's Iron Survivor Challenge qualifying match. Lash Legend defeats Roxanne Perez, which was definitely a surprise to a lot of people. Of course, Roxanne Perez is a former NXT Women's Champion, one of the brightest talents in all of NXT, including the men. But you know, she's doing like a feud with like Kiana James, who's like an upper mid carder heel, and you know. Seems like Seems like they're gonna try again with Lash Legend. That's kind of the impression I'm getting here. But the match itself, Lash Legend's no, you know, she's no Eddie Guerrero. You know, Roxanne Perez though. Let me tell you something. She's it's literally copy and paste what I said about Roxanne Perez last week. I mean, you put it into this week. Like she's so like beyond the years when it comes to like in-ring IQ and just being able to guide green talents through matches. It's like she's 10 years older than what she actually is. She's like 21, bro. It's actually like it's absurd, like how solid she is with lesser wrestlers. You know.
Yeah, it blows my
really, really good, man.
It blows my mind. She you almost forget that, you know, like just how valuable she is, to be honest with you. Like this felt like when they tell a veteran wrestler, like, guide this giant through something, bump for them, do what you got to do, feed them, and then make them look good. And like she did that to a level where it's like, this is the most competent Lash has looked, and I'm sure she's genuinely made some real improvements. But I think a lot of it also was just like Roxanne's doing like Lash is basing, and like Roxanne's doing lucha on her and stuff like that, and you know, chopping down the tree and drop kicking the knees like she's Keiji Muto. A lot of knee drop kicks and limb work and things like that. It was just very, very impressive how she put this thing together. So I just thought the match was like surprisingly solid. And you hope the Iron Survivor match is agented in a way where Lash can like just look good, and you'd kind of hide like any of her flaws. I also have a suspicion that Roxanne, I feel like this match was put together, Monty, because Roxanne's she's done a lot of practice matches in the PC with Jade Cargill, and Jade Cargill, like Lash Legend, is like notably taller than Roxy, and so I bet you knowing these PC fuckers, they were watching. It's like, why don't we put her against Lash, and we put it on TV or something? Because Jade and Roxanne are not wrestling anytime soon, so they might as well.
What PC coach was you doing an impression of?
I don't know. I did Road Dogg, and he's not even there. I don't get that.
I thought you was doing. Michael Hayes, maybe, but
I gotta say that basketball chick is pretty good. I like her build. But nah, this was like as good as you could possibly hope for between the two people.
Yeah, man, I tend to agree. To be honest, again, Roxanne Perez. Legitimate prodigy, man. Alright, so several tag teams are backstage debating who should get the best shot, who should get the next shot at the NXT tag titles. I wonder who it'll be. OTM? We're going to talk about OTM, brother. We're going to get to it. But yeah, a big brawl breaks out between a few of the teams backstage, so we'll see what happens with that. Next up was quite interesting. Laura Valkyria is invited to a Warriors Tea Party from the invites, of course, from Xia Li, her upcoming challenger for the NXT Women's title. So yeah, they have a Warriors Tea Party ceremony thing. It's in it's very. I don't know quite what was going on. But apparently the ceremony is a sign of respect, and there was a ceremony with tea leaves, and Lyra thought Xia Li was trying to poison her with the tea. I don't know, people. How much
don't ask me. Don't ask me. I don't fucking. They sat down, and the Chinese music was playing in the background, and they drank some tea, and Xia declared her intentions, I guess. And then that was the end of that. I don't know what you want.
Laura refuses to drink the tea, but that's important. Yeah,
I guess Xia was trying to kill her. I don't fucking know. She's maybe trying to poison her.
I don't know. Well, yeah, backstage, Mackenzie Mitchell, everyone's favourite interviewer in NXT. She interviews Tripp Williams and Carmelo Hayes. And, there's things that are being implied. Melo, it's an accident, Trick says it's an accident, Trick seems to be pretty much on board with Melo again, his suspicions seem to have calmed down again. Well, we don't know what's going to happen with these, so, We got one of the very classic women's locker room segments. The NXT women's locker room segments, a bunch of women standing around, and two of them will get into some form of brawl or face to face or set up a match. Some people's highlight of the week, Ibo.
Those are very interesting people.
Absolutely, but yeah, Ariana Grace versus Gigi Dolan set up here. Braun Breaker is interviewed by Mackenzie Mitchell. He says he doesn't regret what he'd done to Mr. Stone. He's quickly interrupted by Dijak, and it seems like those two are going to go into at least a match or a feud of some kind.
That would rock.
Soon. So, yeah. Braun Breaker's interesting, bro, because it's like every time a feud comes up for him now, it's like the Von Wagner thing. You're like, all right, he's going to put Von Wagner over, and he's going to the main roster. Lock it in, put your bets on. And then he just beat Von Wagner. He's just all right. I guess he's sticking around for a bit. He's just spinning his wheels at this point, man. It's funny because he was spinning his wheels as like a top guy babyface, and people were kind of getting bored of it, and even some people were starting to turn on him. I know the NXT audience is a bit weird, the live crowds, but even then, people were just kind of getting a bit bored of it because it was just kind of same old with him as just top guy babyface. Then he bought himself some more time if they were going to keep him in NXT with the heel turn. And he's been great as a heel. Like, main roster ready as a heel,
Oh, he's a highlight of all these shows for me. When he pops on, I'm like, all right, this is some real shit right now.
Exactly. And And now it's starting to get into the territory where it's like he's spinning his wheels as a heel, and it's just
It's definitely busy work until he gets called up. It's one of those things where very clearly, like, they give him these short programs, look around, they're like, no, we still got him? Okay, cool. You'll work with Dijak this month. It's like that type of thing. So, yeah, it's obviously busy work. He doesn't need to be doing this, but I also don't hate it either because I just think he's entertaining right now. So, like, it's not bad content, I guess is the way I could put it. But it's also not like he's been overdue a call up is the point I'm making.
Absolutely. There was a little line here where I think it was something like, if Dijak messes with him, Braun's going to make him beg for retribution.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which, them corny WWE lines. But, God bless.
It really struck a nerve with Dijak.
He tweeted, nobody mentioned it or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Men's Iron Survivor Challenge qualifying match. Trick Williams defeats Joe Kofi. This is all right. Nothing special, but it wasn't terrible either. Trick Williams, you kind of get what you get at the moment with him, but, get more reps out there with him. Might be onto something. Kofi's a solid worker. Never really got mad at watching him wrestle, to be honest, although he doesn't really excite me. There was a good near fall in this where, like, Mello, there was something like, obviously we all know there's like a weird thing with Mello and Trick Williams going on. Everyone knows Mello's the person that attacked him and Trick Williams has decided to trust him again, so there's kind of like this weird thing watching it as a fan. Mello's pulling faces and all kinds of stuff on the outside. There was a moment where Mello could have pulled Trick Williams out of the way of a Joe Kofi dive, but he didn't. There was also a moment where Trick Williams swings on one of the Kofis and Mello pulls the rope down and Trick Williams goes over the rope, but it looks intentional. No, it doesn't look intentional. So yeah, they're doing stuff in here to get you thinking, But like I said, there was a good near fall because Mello fucked up some way or somehow, and then Kofi hit a big move, and it was like, oh shit, Kofi's going to pin Trick Williams, and it's going to be Mello's fault. But Trick Williams did kick out, and he eventually got the win. So this wasn't great, but we got where we needed to get.
Sure.
How are you feeling about Trick Williams in ring at the minute?
Well, you can't wrestle, so.
But you seeing any sign of progress? You seeing anything? That's point,
Say it again. He moves like. How would I put this? It's like 1988 Lex Luger. Like he doesn't know how to move with this muscle. It's like it's like a guy who's used to holding his muscle in a certain pose, and you have to wrestle out of that, but your body's stuck in that pose or whatever. I don't know, man. He's still a little awkward. He's still a little tentative. You know what I mean? He moves like he doesn't want to tear a pec or something. Hopefully he gets just more natural when it comes to his movements. He's very charismatic. He's so charismatic. The fans want to root for him. They cheer him on. And that's what's going to carry him on all these weeks. He's unbelievably charismatic and gifted verbally. And as a wrestler, he has a little bit of athleticism, and I guess he's putting it together a little bit. But he's still not there yet. It's kind of where I stand with that. And he's still going to require the help of agents for a lot of what he does.
He's another person as well. Everybody's rooting for him.
Yeah, I wish that there was a system to where he could be wrestling every night. To be honest with you, because I think that's what.
Huh? NXT do live shows, don't they?
Yeah, but they do it once a week, Monty. He's at a level where he needs to wrestle every day.
Yeah, just get him in the PC every day. Do a few matches every week. He's someone that you should probably put him on main event, level up, NXT, the NXT live show.
Mm-hmm.
Throw him on a SmackDown Dark match. Fuck it. But yeah,
sure, man.
I do tend to agree. All right, let's do some super chats. We've got a few build up. Keep them coming, people. We'll choose and appreciate you as always. $5. Have you all noticed that Dave's been shooting on AEW lately? We noticed Chris Jericho's idea for Big Show in the match. Dave, it's not even lately. Look, Dave's, ever since the ticket sales and everything gone down. It's been a minute now. He's been very happy to point that out, and he's been calling them a cold promotion for months now. So. I don't know, that's not even that new, but Dave loves looking at the business side of it, and on the business side of it, in terms of like ticket sales and stuff like that, and indicators like that, they're not doing particularly amazing at the moment. So, he wrote in the Observer newsletter as well, like a few weeks ago, that there's a lot of like talent frustration with creative, and so this isn't AEW's best year by any means. So it would be dishonest if they weren't getting criticism by media members, Will Chisholm, $5. Appreciate you. AEW fans do sound like WWE fans when Vince would call the old timers. Yeah, wrestling fans are wrestling fans, bro. It's just kind of how it goes, like hypocrites. Showtime Spurs, $5. Appreciate it. Monty gasses up NXT, and every time I watch it, it's awful. Shawn Michaels has done to Roxanne Motica, has done to Garcia. That's simply not true, bro. Like, if you think it's awful, that's fine. Like, whatever. We have different tastes. It's not that. But saying Shawn Michaels has done to Roxanne Motica has done to Garcia is just simply untrue. She's still like heavily featured, even if she hasn't been like, she hasn't been the world champion again. But not being the world champion again isn't the same as being forgotten about and being replaced by the Big Show on pay-per-view, is it? Darren Walker, £2. Jada Parker, my NXT agenda. What a start.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
She can't wrestle yet, bro.
Oh my God.
She looks great. She looks great, but
oh my God.
It honestly, bro, it killed me when she made a debut in the NXT Breakout Tournament, and she's clearly got like quite a bit of charisma, and she carries herself well. She's got some presence, and of course, she's a very attractive young woman, But obviously, in the NXT Breakout Tournament, it's the NXT Breakout Tournament for a reason. You know what I mean? Because some of these women are insanely green, and I thought she looked pretty green, to be honest. And I saw come on the timeline, a lot of people were like putting her over, and I was just but speaking of basically something similar, Adriana Rizzo is A1 Milk, $1.99 from TNA's Most Awesome. Adriana Rizzo is she's a new lady in the family,
The family.
Showtime Spurs, $10. Appreciate you as always. I watched Penn State students riot on campus when their head coach was fired for protecting a pedo, but Chase U's student section can't handle an unknown scandal, shambolic angle.
What?
I mean, bro, Showtime Spurs, brother. Why do you watch NXT? I know we talk about it and we praise it, but it's clearly not for you, mate. Like you want your storylines based in realism and stuff like that, and you're comparing Chase U angles to. Penn State students writing on campus. It's come on, brother. Sometimes you just gotta know what you're gonna be into. You know what I mean? Come on. It's not me watching. Who's that? Like DDT tag team that come out in thongs and do fucking
the pheromones?
That's like me watching that and then complaining about it. So I know it's not for me, but some people get enjoyment out of it. That's why it keeps going. But come on, brother. Come on. Come on, brother. Darren Walker, £2. Appreciate it. Garcia needs a 2-month feud with Jeff Jarrett. It will be great. This sounds spiteful from Darren, and it is spiteful. But like in his world, it's not spiteful because Darren Walker does actually think very highly of Double J's usage on AEW television. So, Will Chisholm, $4. Appreciate you. It feels like Triple H told HBK, I'm calling Roxanne up in the next 4 months, so don't put the title on her. I mean, 4 months is a long time, bro. So, I don't know. I think she's just kind of working with other women outside.
He is a fan of Roxanne. Look, I can tell you this, though. Earlier this year, they had to scale back Roxanne for, like, personal reasons. Remember how there's that angle going into Stand and Deliver? Like that was it was rooted in some reality, and there were some things she was kind of dealing with on and off during that time of the year, and so that's kind of why like her springtime was a little weird. But yeah, I don't know. She's just kind of floating around there, seeing what they have. They know what they have with Roxanne. And so, like in this developmental, the key is to just kind of continue to evaluate talent and just try to get everybody up to speed, so to speak. And so it's like, for me personally, I don't like really care about like who's holding what belt in like NXT. Like it kind of doesn't matter, low key. Um, I know it is for some people because they just enjoy it as a product, but I don't watch it. Like I watch it as like a way to just evaluate and scout like who can provide something at the next level, personally speaking. So that's kind of where I'm at with that stuff.
TNA's most loyal soldier, 499, appreciated. Joe Kofi has fallen from grace. He was the future Brit. He was the future of Brit Rest back in the mid 2010s.
He
Was
was
he?
never the future of Brit Rest.
Was he? I mean, he was definitely like he definitely had like a lot of fans on the Brit Rest scene, but he was never like the guy. I don't think but guys over here was he was. There was others. Let's put it that way. Berkey, 199, appreciate you. Who's JBL picking next week besides Von Wagner? Who's JBL picking for the women's match?
I don't fucking know. Man, let me tell you something. That Tiffany Stratton is a 5-tool athlete. Let me tell you that truly. Yeah, I don't fucking know.
You try to think who else is going to be in the Iron Survivor match, I guess. So far you've got Trick Williams and who won it last week? Oh, someone in the chat. Come on, tell us.
Iron
I'm
Survivor?
off the ball. Yeah, who won the Iron Survivor match
Tiffany
last
Stratton.
week?
Oh no, yeah, Tiffany already
Tiffany. There was a men's match as well. Anyway, whatever. That's a super chat. Hush 199, appreciate you. Books mentally checked out. Many have said this. Many have disputed this.
It has been a strange.
Many have talked and speculated about this for the past few days, but I don't know. You'll have to ask them.
It's been a long month. I mean, it's been a strange month, I should say.
Yeah. That Pitbull $2, appreciate it. Woof woof, Mrs. Parker. Another Jada Parker fan. Hush 199. When is Bron getting called up? He's so ready.
It's a great question.
I don't know, mate. I do not know. I don't know. He needs to be called. He could have been called up months ago at this point. But they're definitely being a lot more reserved with the call-ups at the moment and waiting for actual spots for these people to land. Because I think that Triple H may have learned a little bit from his signing spree last year.
You can't just throw people out and then like realize, oh, I actually didn't plan anything with these people.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Seen a lot of that the past couple of years, Yeah. AEW's big signing spree, Triple H's big signing spree.
Because it's hard to resist it's hard to resist the temptation to just go for the pop, and like so it's like you want to keep that going. All right, well, this week it's this guy, this week it's that guy, and then you realize you just built up like 4 new people that are on your show now that like need to have something to do now, so it's tough.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Wesley bumps into Ilya Dragunov backstage. Seems like they're getting pally-pally with each other. But obviously Wesley wants his North American title back at the moment, so this does seem like a legitimate alliance that they're kind of forming. Baron Corbin and Lexis King bump into each other. Lexis King, he's just not good at talking on camera, is he?
What's the funny thing about it though?
Lexis King is trying to take credit for this for the mellow attack on Trick Williams, but
you know what is funny about this, though, Monty? What is funny about this is 2 things. One, this was less bad than last week when he was talking. And what makes it funny is he recently did an interview where he said, like, I don't need a script, I'm this and that, whatever. And it basically implied that, like, like I speak in my own words. This week was a scripted backstage segment, and lo and behold, it was slightly better. So it wasn't about a mind so twisted and your thoughts are unclean. It's just gave him some things to say, and it sounded okay.
Did it?
Relatively speaking, for the standards of Lexis King.
All right. Anyway, Brawling Brutes, Butch and Ridge Holland
This was
versus
real.
out the mud.
This was some
Bronco
real shit.
Nima and Lucian Price. Yeah, man, this is good. Solid stuff, brother. Solid stuff. They kind of whacked
Yes.
each other a bit. The big boys out the mud kind of threw everyone around. Ridge Holland also kind of threw everyone around. Butch was working really stiff, kind of making up for being the shortest guy in there, by some distance as well. So this was good, man. This was good physical match. It's not the sort of match where you look at it and be like Bronco Neiman and Lucian Price are these, fucking prodigies or anything. But it was just you got these two big guys that like whacking people. It's fucking. I'm a fan about the Muddy, but
bro, they're like 6'5", fucking jacked as fuck. They come off very intense. The one that doesn't wear the tank top, he's just fucking flexing like a fucking maniac and shit. And he's like doing the Randy Orton slithering on the floor and runs up and does the clothesline. They're not ready yet fully. They're not
nowhere near ready, bro. They're still green. They're just big
yeah
and awesome, kind of.
yeah. I was gonna say, but what they do have is like genuine presence, and they're menacing, and they're large, and they're intense. Like that's the thing, intensity. I need that, dude. There's big men in the wrestling business right now that like are big and they can do cool stuff, but they have no intensity. Bronson Reed can do some cool things. He doesn't fucking scare anybody. Ivar from the Viking Raiders, he looks fucking like a monster, and then you hear him talking. He's like, "Yeah, Miz, I think you're a joke, man." I'm like, "What the fuck? You sound like a fucking Dungeons and Dragons nerd." But these dudes, got some bass in their voice. They're intense. That's half the battle. Now they just need to learn how to do some fucking stupid wrestling moves. So I like where they're at, and they're big. And so this was a fun match. Ridge Holland, I think, is pretty underrated, to be honest with you. I'm a fan of his. I like this hot tag. And my hot take of this match, Monty, is that this is my favorite version of Pete Dunne. I think this is the most. It highlights what he's good at to me. Like him being this hot tag spark plug that just comes in and he's just a ball of fire doing like it feels like 17 things a minute. The snap Germans and all that type of stuff. It's just really really fun. So I enjoy him as a hot tag. I enjoy this team, and I thought this was the highlight of the show overall.
Yeah, I was a big fan as well. Next up, we got the Cryptic Joe Gacy promo that you mentioned earlier in the show. Yeah, Gacy, he says something like, it's time for him to let go, and he cuts to black, and the camera thought, like, it's weird. Anyway, Gigi Dolan defeats Ariana Grace in the match that was set up earlier in the show. We get a video package covering the friendship of Robert Stone and Von Wagner, which was fucking hilarious because it was like presented in a manner like Von Wagner won the match last week when he didn't. Mackenzie Mitchell interviews Eddie Thorpe, which was interesting. But yeah, he's back now, and he said he needed to take some time off to physically and mentally recover from the strap match that he had with Dijak. And yeah, he then gets challenged by the Gulak crew with Charlie Dempsey and Miles Bourne and those guys. So see what happens there. Andre Chase is swarmed by paparazzi as he's leaving the NXT thing. JC Jane pulls up and saves him. And in the main event, Baron Corbin defeats Wesley after distraction from Dirty Dominic Mysterio. The nasty friendship that we mentioned earlier. It's not ideal for the NXT verse that Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Baron Corbin are becoming best friends. It's not what I would. It's not how I would put my federation. But it's what happened. The match was pretty decent, to be honest. Wesley's great. He's got a really high motor. He was absolutely selling his ass off. Baron Corbin's got some cool offense, I guess. He's obviously been a lot more motivated in these NXT matches. He's kind of just making moves up. Like, did you see like the swinging lariat thing that he did?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I can't lie.
That's what I mean. Like, he just kind of does stuff, And, he's got his fundamentals down and stuff like that. Baron Corbin isn't like a terrible worker or anything. He's got too much experience, I think, to be that. But Wesley, man. Wesley, of course, the better side of this match. Wesley's great. We'll see we'll see what happens with him. Of course, he lost this match, but it was with distraction from Dominic Mysterio. It seems like that's going to be next for him. Hopefully, he can win the North American title back off him because he did have a great run with it. I wouldn't do a long run with Wesley's title reign this time because he just had a really long one. But, if that's kind of his mission coming back, he kind of needs to put the belt on him. Then, Ilya Dragunov comes out after the match, tries to save Wesley because Dominic Mysterio and Baron Corbin are kind of putting the beat down on him. And then Baron Corbin somehow reverses what does he call it, bro? Ilya Dragunov's finish, like the torpedo.
Torpedo Moscow.
Yeah, so Ilya Dragunov's lining him up for that, but he gets reversed and he hits the end of days on him. And, Ilya Dragunov fired up in the middle of the ring, crawls to a microphone. It says Baron Corbin is getting his NXT title shot at NXT Deadline on December 9th. So it's official. Baron Corbin versus Ilya Dragunov is how we're ending the show here. Ibo, I'm not going to be too surprised if this wasn't for you, mate. Ilya versus Baron being set up for the pay-per-view.
I can't wait for the day where we just don't have to deal with people like Baron Corbin and The Miz occupying major spots on pay-per-views, to be quite frank with you. They have Gunther and Miz facing at Survivor Series, and they have this match at Deadline. And look, they're both going to be good matches because Dragunov and Gunther are that great. But I don't care. Like, that's going to be people's like big go-to excuses. Like, oh, well, the match will be good. It's like, that's cool, but I'd rather just use new guys that I'm excited for and just let them do great things rather than task Gunther and Ilya Dragunov with getting something out of these, frankly, just tired guys, that have been just kind of, these tired Fed lifers that just kind of been around, Corbin's going to be physical with Dragunov, and I actually do think that's going to be a very good match because Dragunov's the safest bet in wrestling, besides maybe like a Will Ospreay or something. Yeah. I don't really have much to say besides that. It's just Dragunov's going to just be a ball of fire, and he's going to chop the shit out of Corbin. He's going to get some toughness out of the guy, and it'll ultimately turn into a good match. So I don't know. That's that. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, man. There isn't really much else to say about it, But yeah, that was NXT, of course. A very interesting episode as we just recapped. Let's talk a little bit about Dynamite. Do a quick preview for you guys. Of course, we'll start with the street fight. We'll start with the street fight because, of course, we've done his rant about how Big Show must take a bump tonight. So we've got Paul White, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, and Kota Ibushi versus Brian Cage, Kyle Fletcher, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Konosuke Takeshita. Fascinating lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating lineup, people.
Yeah, it is a fascinating lineup. I think this match will be fun. Kenny Omega is very good at these types of matches where you got to be creative. It'll be nice to see Ibushi and see what they come up with. Konosuke Takeshita is a mutant, so I'm obviously going to be happy to see him wrestle. And Paul White should take a bump.
Absolutely, you should. Who do you think's winning? What side do you think's winning? Callis or Omega?
I don't know or care.
That's a shame, isn't it? But yeah, that's where this feud is kind of spiraled to. We're not going to get into it because we're just doing a quick preview. But
do you hear my dog breathing right under me?
Yes, a little bit. Red Velvet versus Sky Blue. Red versus Blue. Many have called this Crips versus Bloods.
Crips versus Bloods.
Yeah, man. Red Velvet versus Sky Blue.
That's funny.
What we thinking?
Where are they in Cali? Are they in Oakland or?
It's in Ontario, Canada.
Oh, I thought it was in Cali. Either way, yeah. Wasn't the stipulation of this that the winner gets added into the TBS title match at the pay-per-view?
Yep, TBS title eliminator match, mate.
Yeah, so that means it would be Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart versus one of these two girls. It could go either way because Sky Blue has been involved in the build of that, but Red Velvet, they might want to just kind of get her involved, and maybe they liked how she looked last week because she had a good showing last week in the ring against God, who did she face last week? She had a good match last week. Can't remember who it was against, but it could go either way. I would prefer Red Velvet wins for the sake of the match. So we shall see. Yeah, everyone in the chat is saying it's Ontario, California, Monty. I figured it was. Yeah.
There's two Ontarios.
Yeah, there's an Ontario in Canada. Yeah, there's an Ontario in Canada, and there's
fucking
yeah.
It's blowing my mind.
Bro, we have so many duplicate names of like cities, towns, and states, and like there's an Ontario,
Right.
California. Yeah.
My bad, people.
Yeah.
I did fail geography hilariously.
It's really it's really close to Rancho Cucamonga, actually. Like the Bucks can make it to Ontario, California in about 25 minutes.
They're gonna tonight because they are wrestling Penta and Commander in a tag match. This was just randomly added, but not gonna complain about it. Especially the Bucks in Cali. It's they should be wrestling out there. So they're wrestling Penta and Commander. Should be a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add, Ibu?
Well, they're gonna have a nice 3.5-star lucha match in front of their people, and it'll be fun. And it'll be cool. And I hope we get a nice little go home angle for their match with Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho.
Yeah, man. We'll see how it plays out. We'll hear from MJF. Of course, he's got a lot going on, but he just needs to
hone in on Jay White for this week.
No. Well, I don't know about this week, but I just mean in general. He just needs to accept that Samoa Joe offer.
Yeah, for sure. Samoa Joe should absolutely be his partner for the Full Gear tag. I think we've passed the point of the handicap matches. Like I'm over that.
Yeah, bro, that goes without saying, mate.
Yeah, I'm over the handicap matches, the comedy handicap matches. I want to see him and Samoa Joe kick ass. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting that.
Yeah, man. John Moxley and Wheeler Yuta versus Orange Cassidy and Hook. That could be good, man. That could be really good.
I hope John summons something out of Hook. That's what I want to see. I think that's a weird freak show matchup, to be honest. Hook and John Moxley in the ring. I hope that's interesting. I feel like it could be.
Yeah, I know. Listen, that could play out very well. Some of those interactions, but yeah, man. AEW Dynamite. I think that's basically everything that I can see on the fly here. Of course, the street fight's the big thing. You'd assume that's going to take up quite.
What is wrong with you today? You are just out of control.
Oh, you could have muted yourself there.
I'm sorry.
But as a professional, you're dealing with your dog. You're giving it a talking to. Come on, mate. Anyway. Yeah, so AEW Dynamite, obviously, the street fight's probably going to take up a big chunk of the show, as you'd assume, especially considering there isn't much else already announced for the show.
I honestly think Tony's just going to announce another match, to be honest.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise anyone, but still, bro, there's one segment announced, MJF. Mm-hmm. There is, and you got the 4 matches, so it'll probably just be it'll probably be a segment that he'll announce, to be honest. I don't know what he's going to do. He'll announce something probably, but if he doesn't, it will just be, we'll just get it on the show sort of thing,
Yeah, I would not be surprised if in an hour he drops a graphic that says, "We hear from Madam Copeland" or something.
Exactly. So yeah, AEW Dynamite. All right, we spoke about everything we need to speak about. We spoke about Mega. We spoke about NXT. We spoke about Mickey James.
We have some news. We have some news on Bad Bunny. His tour schedule is set up to where he's free for night 2 of WrestleMania, and that was specifically noted by PW Insider. So
that's obviously you'd assume that could very much work out. Bad Bunny loves the game, brother. So we'll see. We'll see if he's going to jump in there again. Oh, one last thing. Rey Mysterio, he done the big injury angle with Santos Escobar on Friday with Escobar attacking the leg. He posted on Instagram that he underwent knee surgery. I automatically assumed he was just working, Um, but in a follow-up report by Nick Hausman, apparently he's been working with a torn meniscus for a while, and he's now decided to get surgery, and he's expected to be out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep.
So, you just to touch on what you've been saying recently, but so Rey Mysterio hasn't quite looked as sharp lately, you
No,
know, and at least now you know it's because he had an injury, you
I
know.
gotta say, in a weird, sick way, I'm really happy to hear this because I was beginning to come to terms with Ray finally falling off. Like,
But not yet.
so here's the thing: Max Kellerman was an anchor on ESPN First Take, and he used to always talk about Tom Brady, the NFL quarterback. And every year, as Tom Brady got deeper into his 40s, he'd be like, "This is the year he hits the cliff. This is the year he hits the cliff," and the cliff would never come. And with Ray, it felt like the cliff never came for Ray. And then this year, randomly in the summertime, you start to notice a little bit of a drop off, and his recent performances were like they weren't quite Ray level, you know. And I had to fight with Chris and Chris about like Ray being washed and this and that, and I'm like, nah, man, he looked good at the beginning of this year, and I genuinely feel better, Monty, knowing that it's because he was working on a fucking torn up knee. I played basketball on a torn meniscus. It's not fun. It is not fun, Monty. A lot
Doesn't
of
sound
sequelae.
it. It doesn't sound it. It's not.
No,
It's not
so
quite your ACL, but it's not fun. You know.
no, it's not fun. You don't move great. It's swollen. You're uncomfortable. So yeah, Ray's gonna get this thing cleaned up, and he'll be back in time for the Rumble. And most likely, he'll probably eliminate Santos or something. They'll do something for Mania season. You know what I think would be cool, Monty? Legado del Fantasma versus Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, and Bad Bunny.
Yeah, that would be awesome. 100%. Pitch it to him.
Let's do it. Yeah, I will.
Throw it out there. Yeah, and obviously we're wishing Rey Mysterio the speediest of recoveries because I think I can speak for me and Ibu here, he's legitimately like one of our favourite wrestlers ever. So,
absolutely.
The longer we can keep him around at a good level, the happier we'll be. Will Chisholm, $10, appreciate it. I remember when Mandy Rose had the NXT title and people wanted her stable to get called up, and the report was they had no plans. That felt like a Triple H call because they are not good.
He didn't give a shit about Toxic Attraction.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, I think it was more like he didn't really care for them. Mandy Rose actually came along as a work, and she was like kind of all right. Like she was definitely like all right enough to be on TV, you know. And obviously you got Gigi and JC. JC is obviously really good at the character work. Gigi is very over online. Leave it at that. But yeah, I don't know. Playboy X199, appreciate it. A mind so twisted and thought so unclean don't move you. Not really, mate. Not really. Don't really. Less of the Lexis King quotes, please, people. It's quite offensive. Hush 199, appreciate it. Does Tony watch all WWE programming? He's aware of what's going on there, but obviously he doesn't sit down and watch those 7-8 hours of WWE every week. But he's very aware of what's going on over there. Mm-hmm. So Jizzle 199, appreciate it. Sick of Tony Khan using women of colour only to get white women over. That's quite the take as we're winding down here. So appreciate the super chat, but we are literally wrapping it up right now, brother. So that's a whole podcast, that is, you know, how women of colour are used in the wrestling industry.
Now, with that said, I do think it's kind of crazy that Willow Nightingale's been all over these TVs and she will not be involved in the TBS title match at the pay-per-view. That's kind of strange.
Oh, bro, don't get me started on Willow. I went on a rant about her about a month ago.
Yeah.
Hush 199, appreciate it. Bad Bunny Lucha ranking Ibu. Yeah, that's how we're finishing up. Ibu, where does Bad Bunny? What category does Bad Bunny fit into?
Really good.
He's real, bro.
He's really
real. That match with Damian Priest is out fucking outrageous, man.
It's outstanding. It's outstanding.
But yeah, on that note, guys, please
NXT did a 0.21 for last night's interesting episode of
bro. They're hanging in there in the 0.2s, bro. They're hanging in there.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is, man. It is. It genuinely is. But yeah, they're definitely a trend, definitely trending upwards, as is all of WWE really at the moment. So, but yeah, NXT review, AEW Dynamite preview, a few news notes for you guys. Please like and subscribe because I don't plug that enough. I'm always kicking myself after. So please like the video on the way out and make me feel a bit better about myself. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the Raw review yesterday as well with Ibu and Rob. It seemed like a very successful first episode of that. So yeah, good stuff all round. Of course, we'll be back later on Twitch with the AEW Dynamite watch along. AO, Rob, Marcus, Manny maybe. You know, the guys just kind of hang out watching Dynamite. You know the score. So we'll be doing that on Twitch later on tonight. Tomorrow, AEW Dynamite review. So hopefully it's a good episode because the past 2 weeks have been interesting because last week was pretty good. The week before that was one of the worst Dynamites of all time. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to get tonight,
This one's gonna fall squarely in the middle, I think.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what I'm getting tonight, mate. So I don't know what to tell you about how the review is going to play out tomorrow, guys. But again, please like, subscribe. Appreciate you all for the super chats as always, especially you regulars that are always asking multiple questions to show and stuff like that. We do appreciate it, and we do notice you. You know, we notice our regulars got a lot of love, even those of you who don't send super chats. We notice the regulars. We appreciate you all. We always get a decent house for these things. So, yeah. Like, subscribe, appreciate all the super chats, and we will catch you later on Twitch. Peace.